It's obvious that they need Trey Lance to be ready to roll in 2022, given Jimmy's money. And as you said to me, we're talking about it like need him to be ready. Like he's playing one way or the other. But they really are a quarterback ready core. When you think about how talented it is, I don't know. I mean, we can start going through all the teams in the league and go like,
Well, guy, part of it is what they paid for him too, right?
for Trey Lance, right? For regardless of what
Yeah.
Jimmy's getting paid. No, totally.
Yeah.
They didn't invest dollars in him, but they invested capital. It's all in some ways it's all the same. There are a few ways you can do things. One is with money, one is with draft picks. Warner, Bosa, Kittle, Trent Williams, and I'd say Ayuk and Debo while they're cheap. Like this team is just very quarterback ready. Your star core is Warner, Bosa, Kittle, right? Trent also, but in terms of like in their primes. Like you got three guys at three key positions who you
If Trent's healthy though, he's a prime player.
Yeah,
Even
he's in
older.
his prime plus, right?
Yeah.
An extended prime. But when I took a step back today and you look at what everyone can see, but you just take these 4, 5, 6 guys and just stack them up with the best 4, 5, 6 non-quarterbacks on every team, they match up. They match up. I mean, 4 of those guys are elite at their position. Like 4 of those guys are now. I guess Bosa's he's got to be healthy, but you're talking about all pro level players.
Well, if this was the NBA, they would be a lock to be in the Final Four. But as we know in the NFL, you can have the sweetest core guys, top 4 or 5 players on your team. If one of them is not your quarterback, you are not a lock to do anything, right? And I still think for the Niners quarterback situation feels a lot better because just they have a real backup in theory, right? A guy that is really, really way more talented than the other guys. We don't know. We saw Jimmy last year when he played was not good, and we have no clue with Trey Lance. Right? I was talking to Coward last week, and we were talking about Jordan Love. And he was like, do you think he's ready? He's like, do you think there's any way they could know that he was ready? And I was like, well, I went to Niner practice with you, a couple weeks ago or whatever, a month ago. And I think most of the practices, talking to some of my friends around the NFL, like OTAs are kind of, they call it a joke relative to what it used to be. I'm like, I don't think there's any way possible you come away from an OTA practice with a young quarterback, besides his physical talents, right? You just his how big he is, him running around and arm strength, and going like, I know this. We could win a game with a guy that's never played in a game because you have no clue what he looks against the pass rush. You have no clue a guy that's never been sacked in the NFL how he's going to jump up. Like the questions just don't get answered.
Yeah.
Right? Like we were at practice and everyone I've told everyone, whether it's just a random golfing buddy or on text chains, like I think Trey Lance looked pretty good physically, but like, can he just pick apart a defense in an NFL game? Like, I don't know. And there's no way for Kyle to know that now. And they will not know, just like they will know when we know. Everyone's going to know at the same time. It's going to happen in a game. You will not know in this. Do you agree this practice setting with a quarterback? There's a ceiling to what you can learn. You can learn intelligence and him understanding the offense, even the reads, but like what happens when Aaron Donald hits you in the sternum? And same with Jimmy. Like, does Jimmy bounce back to the Lorenzo Neal? Does pressure burst his pipe or does it make him a diamond again? Like, does he play really well? Does he handle the pressure well? Or does he like press? I don't know. Just again, body language doctor judging him at practice. It looked like he had a little pep in his step. Like, you're not just going to throw, and he should. He's prideful. He's been in the league a while. He learned from Tom. He's had success individually. But to me, their question at quarterback, their core is awesome, right? I mean, think how many teams in the league would trade their top non-quarterback 3 or 4 players for that group, right? No one would argue that. But if your quarterback play, the Niners were a playoff team last year. The problem is their quarterback play was like 2-win level.
Yeah, that's the beauty of a great quarterback is it overcomes some of that stuff, right?
Yeah, like
can overcome
the Bills. Like, can you name 4 non-Josh Allens that are better than what the Niners have?
Yeah, I mean, you'd go Diggs.
But they got Josh Allen.
Right. If you were going to make who are their core 4? Diggs?
I think they have an offensive tackle, starts with a D Dawkins, I think that they like.
Yeah, Deion Dawkins.
The
was a second-round pick a few years ago.
Did Gronk body slam Tre'Davious White's
Tre'Davious
really
White,
good.
their first round
corner.
pick. Yep.
So I mean, they got
Ed Oliver,
it's right there. I think he's underachieved
Jerry
a little bit,
Hughes.
but
I mean,
yeah, I mean,
I'm sure a Bills fan could maybe they just go with maybe Gregory Rousseau's a baller this year. I'm sure a Bills fan could give us a name or two.
But you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
their trump card is because I think they have some holes. They're gonna if he stays healthy and plays like he did, they're a 12-win lock because of him. And that's where I go back to like I'm bullish on the Niners, and they should be a playoff team. But we do. I mean, Jimmy's more of a known when he's healthy than Trey is. If he has to play, he is a complete unknown until he plays a game. Like Kyle is going to learn as you, me, and every single person learns on their couch. Right?
Yeah.
Same with one day with Jordan Love. Like eventually, well, it's not a lock. If I was the Packers, I'd just try to ride out Aaron Rodgers as possible. But let's say they give in. They say, Aaron, show up. We 100% swear to God, we'll fucking put it on paper. We will trade you after the season. They'll be like, God, I really like how Jordan's mature. They will not know till he plays. You can't. Right? That's what I give Ted Thompson credit. Like, now, I do think it was probably in practices 15 years ago,
Also,
the red
years of it,
The red jersey was like, and looking back, like Mahomes and probably Rodgers were doing some things in practice. Like, hey guys, I've never seen that. I've been in the league 20 years, like a random assistant coach. I've never seen this, right?
Also, your team was and your team was set up to support a young quarterback too, right?
But still, like Rodgers got a shot, and he was just clearly he could take a hit.
Well, I went and watched his first start the other day. He threw his first touchdown in his third year, like in relief, but his fourth year, his first start.
Week one.
Can
you imagine the pressure on him?
His first touchdown pass. It was Monday Night Football, I think. Monday night or Sunday Night Football. His first touchdown pass. It's like they had the ball on the 1 yard line, but it's like backpedal, dude at his feet, sidestep, dude coming at him, sidearm, goes by one linebacker, tight window coverage, DB can't hit it down. I mean, it was an incredible throw. And it was just like, would I have known then if I had seen that? Probably not. Because,
But right away, you go, this guy's talent's immense.
Yeah, but those are the moments, right? The moments is not what makes a great player. It's the consistency of the moments, right? Every quarterback that's played in the league a couple of games, probably, not every quarterback, but most of them have a couple of plays that make you go, holy hell. It's the consistency, though, that...
One thing Mike Tomlin said that Monty Kiffin taught him, that any coach worth their salt can get a C player and make him a B player, right? A solid backup. And Tomlin's like, we as coaches, we love getting pride. Like our backup started for a month and he was good. Like, yeah, any coach can do that. Can you take an A player and have him play an A game every week of the season for years on end? Like that is, and it goes back to like you've always said about Phil Jackson or Joe Torre. Like we act like coaching great players is easy. It's actually not. It's why a lot of guys get fired when they coach great players that can't handle it. Like most coaches at a pretty high level can take like a solid guy and coach him up. Now he's got a ceiling, but can you take a sweet dude and make him a star year in, year out? You just high level guys consistently dominate. And I don't even know where I was going with this, but that's...
I'll add to that, John, because it's also more pressure because expectations are higher, right? If you coach great players and you don't win a championship, there's pressure, right? You might lose your job, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the other thing I always say is no team has ever won a championship without great players. So I can't knock a coach who's got rings for coaching great players. The history of every sport, great players win championships. Like, oh, well, the Pistons didn't have great... Yeah, the Pistons, Rip Hamilton and Tayshaun Prince, and okay, they weren't... That's not MJ or Hakeem or, Dirk. Those are great. Ben Wallace. Like, those are great
Rasheed
teams.
Wallace, Chauncey Billups.
I mean, right? So that team was a little different in terms of, like, they weren't 3 number ones like we see sometimes now. But that was a damn good team. Great players.
The other two coaches were Larry Brown and Rick Carlisle. I mean, they were a pretty high-level group, right?
Yeah. Even like I was texting with our buddy AJ. He's like, about the Bucks. He's like, are they a big 3? And I said no, because I think a big 3 is like multiple A1 like leader stars, right? Like you wouldn't take Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday and take obviously number one. Giannis is a number one, but those two guys on two other teams as number ones, those two teams are not also competing, like truly competing for the championship. But they're also like all-stars. Like they're pretty, all-stars in a sport where not a lot of people make the all-star team in basketball.
I think Middleton's actually pretty damn good.
Well, he is. Maybe he is like an A. I don't know, but
I don't know if he's an A, but he's like a B plus.
He's fantastic. That's my point. At first, I was like, nah, and then you start thinking about it, like, well, pretty damn good. But that's what it takes to win a championship. It takes great players and luck.
But back to your original, like they got great players in basketball. Like without Giannis, without Steph, without LeBron, without Kevin Durant, you got no fucking chance to win a championship. And I think in football, you can have sweet core guys, but if your quarterback is not, if your team is incredible, you can get by with like B minus quarterback play. That's, Jimmy had A games, but overall his 19 season was probably like a B. Like you can do that a B if the rest of your team is like A's. The 49ers are going to need at minimum probably like B to B plus quarterback play these next couple of years to be competitive. The Bills last year, AFC Championship, well, their quarterback play was an A. The Chiefs the last 3 years since Mahomes got there. Like before they were like, what would you say? Alex would be anywhere from like a B minus to B plus, but their team was loaded. Then they get Mahomes and it's like their team was still loaded and boom, they get A quarterback play. They're like, 15-1, 14-2. So the Niners, like to me, if their quarterback play is average, they're still right around 500, which is possible this year, right? Who knows? Maybe Jimmy turns out just isn't that good. Or just is limited, and Trey is just a year away. Do you agree that? Like it's not, it's going to come down to me to that position. And I got question marks, just as Kyle does, just because there's no way to know for Trey. Absolutely not. It'd be like if Aaron Rodgers, like back to Jordan Love, if Aaron Rodgers had an injury, let's say he had a terrible ankle sprain and he was going to miss 5 games, you have no fucking clue what their offense is going to look like with Jordan Love. None. It could be a disaster, or it's like, damn, this guy's pretty good. And I think that would be the same the moment Trey gets his start. You'd be like, we'll see. Even if you're bullish on him, as people are, I am. But those first start, it's hard.
And there's a difference between looking promising and being ready to win. Those are two different things too.
Especially like, okay, you can look promising against a bad team and pull it off because the other parts of your team. It's hard to be a promising player if you're playing like the Rams or Seattle. Like it's going to be tough on the road with fans. It's loud.
They're good too.
You can't hear. Yeah.
They got good players too, all right?
As David Culley once told me when we were playing the Bills back when the Bills sucked, he's like, they got Lamborghinis and big-ass cars in their parking lot too.
Such a good line.